right. Hey everyone. All right. So, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot actually is this human superpower that we have. It's a power that no other living being has, and it's really, really great and really, really powerful. And I've doing a little bit more work in sort of occupying this space and cultivating this space. And so, the power that we have is that we are able to create a space between stimulus and the way that we respond to it, and in that space is so much power, and it's just so wonderful. So the path to connecting with that superpower for everyone is really to take the most distressing thought you have right now, the one that you wish would go away, that you're pushing really hard against, um, that you want to connect with, uh, that you don't want to connect with, that you would just wish would go away, and really take the time rather than fight with it and put all that energy into fighting with it and seeing what it's trying to tell you. So if you want to, give it a big listen, a little listen, you want to share with me, or you just want to sit with it, um, whatever that big scary thought is. And this big scary thought is scary because usually it means that it's telling you that there's something you can't have, or there's something that you should be afraid of, or that you should be worried about. And and it's in that power, it's in that you understand what it is that you really want, and what um, expectations aren't being met for you. So you want to sit with that and listen. What is it telling you that you can't have? And also, what's interesting to do and to sit with this is to listen and try to understand also, what. So, does it sound like you? Is it something that you would normally say to yourself, or is this big scary thought that you're fighting against? Is it something that the one that you don't want, the one that you wish wasn't in your mind? Is it something that you would say to yourself, or is the voice coming from somewhere else? And trying to see if it's actually coming in from inside of you, or if it's kind of like trying to protect you. Is it trying to keep you from getting your hopes up? Is it trying to keep you from getting hurt? Is it saying, you can't have this, or don't invest yourself too much in this, because if you do, then you might get hurt? And so it's in that way, it's kind of protecting you and trying to keep you from more pain and from feeling badly. And so you listen to it and see, is it me? And what is it trying to tell me? And what is it trying to protect me from? And then, and this is kind of what I was talking about. So like the human superpower that we have is to create this space between stimulus and the way we respond to it. And it's the humans are the only people that I know on this planet, or the only beings I know on this planet that have this power. And by listening to it and examining it and finding out just exactly what it is that you do want, and that you're maybe telling yourself that you can't have, or that your mind, or your ego, if you will, is trying to protect you from uh, wanting too badly, and connecting with that, and sitting with what it is that you want. Because we have these walls, and we say, well, I can't invest myself too much in wanting this because I don't know how to get it, and I don't know how it's going to come, and I don't want to get hurt. um, and yeah, getting, connecting with that. And actually, so now that you know what it is that you want, that you think that the world is showing you that you can't have, or that your mind is trying to keep you from getting hurt by wanting too much, and sit with it and feel how it feels to actually have that. So whatever it is that you want, whether it's in life, or just like the outcome that you want from tonight, and from the votes, and from the ballots, um, and 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 if you allow yourself, because the our brain is such this magical, amazing thing that it actually can't really tell the difference between what we imagine and what's actually happening. So whatever we imagine, whatever sort of channel that we're logged on to, whether it's Fox News or be careful, you can't have that, don't get hurt channel, or whatever it is, you can change that channel. You don't have to stay with the scary, disturbing thought. The scary, disturbing thought is trying to point you in the direction of this is what you want that you're not aligned with and that you're not connecting with. Um, and and so what I want you to do now is take a deep breath. And another one. And you connect, and so when you're breathing in, what I want you to do is spend a little time in your body rather than in your head, rather than in the what ifs of the future. Just be here right now. What's right in front of you? What's your body trying to tell you? And if you feel tension, I'm going to show you a way to release it, because your tension, your anxiety, your stress, you're going to feel it in your body. But it's not energy that wants to be held onto. It's energy that wants to be free, right? That's why it moves so much, and it wants you to do something with it. It wants you to expend it. But the reality is that you don't have to connect with that stress and that anxiety. You can just um, let it go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath, and then you're going to look for all the spots of tension in your body and sort of find if they're like in a specific place. And if you want, you can share it privately with me, or you can share it in the comments, or you don't have to share it at all. And what I want you to do is, over those spots of tension, maybe there's more than one. If there's just one, it's like centralized. What you're going to do is you're going to picture a window right over the top of it. And as you breathe in, build the window, create it so that it's over the space, over the bits of your body that are carrying tension with them. And so you breathe in, and as you breathe out, open the window, whether it's like this or like this or like this, however you picture that window, and you open the window, and as you breathe out, you're gonna let the tension move out. So you're gonna breathe it out. You're gonna let it go and let it out of that window. So the first thing that you want to do is check in with yourself. See out of 10, how high is your anxiety or your tension right now? And write that in the chat. Share it with me. Write it down. Keep it in mind. Okay, so you have that number. Now breathe in. Build that window. And then as you exhale, open the window and let the tension out. Okay, and if you have somewhere else in your body that you're feeling it, that you want to let go, that you want to disconnect, you want to let go of this tension that you're feeling, all the stress from the elections and all the craziness that's going on in the world, do it a few times, and then check in with yourself and see if your tension is coming down. Is it less than the number that you had before you built the window over that spot? And when you're able to let go and you're calm, and you're expanding this space between the intrusive, scary thoughts that you don't want to have anything to do with, and the reaction that you're having. And this is how you're able to react. You're like, okay, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna hear and listen and see if it's my voice or if it's the voice of someone that I can identify. And Oh, great, Linda, that's awesome. So build the window over your shoulders and your neck. So build one window over your shoulders and one over your neck, and one at a time. find, sort of feel how that tension is, where it is in your body out of 10. Yeah, it's a great release technique. I learned it from my coach, Joanne Gordrich, a little while ago, about 10 years ago, roughly, actually. And yeah, it's been really helpful to me. So over each spot, you build, you breathe in, you build your window, and then when you breathe out, deep breath, and you push as much of that tension out because it doesn't actually want to be held. And then check in again, and then do it on the other spots. And this is you creating, this is you using your superpower and creating space between, um, creating space between you, your, your thoughts and the external stuff that's going on outside around you, and the response that you're going to give to it. Because when you feel out of sync with something, it's because you want to be in sync with that thing, and that you think that you can't be in that sync with that thing. Good. I'm so glad, Linda. That's so wonderful. And obviously, if you feel inclined to share it, that would be amazing. Just help people. I know people are going through heck, and we don't even know what the results are going to look like, and we probably won't know for a few weeks. And I know it's been a crazy few weeks. There's been even just some astrological stuff going on, and even just like the full blue moon in October or whatever, Halloween, and sort of like there's a lot of stuff and a lot of uncertainty, and it's honestly, personally, like even me, like I'm surprised I have this time to do this, and I'm showing up, and I'm so glad that people are here to show up and to connect. Because it's just been nonstop. Every morning I wake up and I feel like I'm already behind and I'm running around and I'm trying to get as many things off my to-do list and try to do it efficiently, and and all of that, and yeah, it's really important to just come here and sit and show yourself that you are powerful, and that you have a superpower that no other living being has. Like I saw, all humans do, and we're not really trained to use it, but we have this space that we can create between stimulus and response. And so it's important to listen to ourselves and believe that what we want is possible. Sorry. So believe that what we want is possible, and connect with the feeling of having what we want. Because honestly, you don't need to know how to get there. And I'll give you a couple of examples that have happened to me this week, or that I've realized this week in terms of that. Is like, so it might not be a secret to a lot of you that I've been dealing with a lot of sort of uncertainty and stress around, like, what am I doing with my life? I've just turned 40 and things like that. And just a few weeks before my 40th birthday, I finally uh, realized that I actually had built a great network of people, and you're all part of it, and I'm so grateful that you're all part of it. And slowly, realizing that, I deserved help. I was allowed to ask for help. That I gave myself the compassion to say to myself, look, I'm not supposed to be perfect. I'm supposed to be me. I'm supposed to be bringing in uh, my abilities and my talents and my skills, and I'm supposed to be sharing those with people. And they're supposed to do the same. There's a belief in Judaism that the world is created by giving and taking. So these interactions where we give to each other and we take from each other, that's how we create the world, because that is kindness. That is opportunities. I mean, who doesn't love being able to help someone else? And disconnect really from like these beliefs that we need to be perfect and invulnerable and completely self-sufficient, and just trust that we are born worthy of help. We are born worthy of good things and support, and that one of the main things that are in the way of getting the things that we want is that we don't believe we can have them. And so I wanted to give you some examples. So a lot of things were happening. I was dealing with a lot of like uncertainty with my housing and So grateful. Things came together, and just with the wonderful people that I've built relationships with on Facebook over the last 10, 15 years, um, I was able to raise enough money to be okay for housing for a little while. And when I sort of understood that things were coming together and that things were working, and I sort of had clarity about the future of hug training and my future with it, and we can talk about that a little bit later if you're curious. And I made a list of things that I needed and things that I wanted, and I just put it aside. And I didn't really question it. I didn't really worry about how. I didn't even worry about the list. Made the list and I put it aside. And I went on with other stuff, like launching the next phase of Hug Train, which is the Small Change Institute, and reaching out to people and taking care of a bunch of things. And one thing that sort of just happened in that process is that one of the things that was on my list was I wanted to, I had a consultation with a naturopath, which is sort of out of my budget right now. And I am so lucky that just by connecting with the people in my network, I actually connected with someone who I didn't know had trained in, holistic healing since then. And since I was living in London, we were in touch, and now they're helping me, deal with the stuff as it comes up. They're available to me. We chat most of the time, obviously partly because we're friends, but just it came. Well, the point is that it came together without much effort, without even putting it together. It was just like I put it down. I said, "This is what I want." I believed it was possible. I didn't really attach a how to it, and without even trying, and even but little things like it was on Friday. I was also just like, there's this app that I use for deliveries, and I have a little bit of limited mobility right now, and I don't feel comfortable going into my local grocery store, and so I depend on this app that I use for deliveries, and they're really good about, if they screw up, then if they bring me the wrong thing, then they'll just refund it or things like that. And if things are out, which is normal because it's a pandemic, they'll just give me a free delivery. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I could keep this free delivery thing going, because it's still $10 for the delivery. um, and I had the delivery, and I not there wasn't one store that had everything that I wanted, so I ordered from 4 stores, and all 4 stores didn't have everything, or there were problems. And just by thinking, wouldn't it be nice to keep the cycle going, I now have 4 free deliveries. Something that I've learned over and over again is that when things don't work out, there is often an opportunity to get a better outcome or even more out of it. Um, and just by putting it out there and saying, "Hey, wouldn't this be nice?" And so maybe we can sit here right now and do that. Um, what are the things that would be nice to have that you don't necessarily know how they're going to come together, but that you want in your life, that you want to be part of, that you want to connect with? So yeah, sit for a little bit and think about that. Now that we've released the tension, we realize that we're creating a space to, and then we're being compassionate with ourselves, and we're allowing ourselves to need others, and not to be able to do everything, and just to show up. And really, sometimes all you have to do, and I'm learning this more and more, is just, if you show up, then the right people will show up. That's all you have to do. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to like stress. I am watching how many people are watching the stream right now, and I'm watching how long it's been going. And I don't really know if you can hear me clearly or not, and if the lighting's good or whatever. And I'm trying not to worry about it. I'm here. I'm available. I'm interacting with people who have shown up, and I'm trusting that these are the right people to show up. I'm not, trying to post this everywhere and make sure it's seen, and like that it gets attention. I'm just trusting the currents and the flow, and just trusting that everything is okay, and that everything is gonna be how I want it. Is gonna work out for the best. One thing that I wish people on their birthday is I wish them everything they need, and at least some of what they want. Without putting any restrictions on it, and with trusting that maybe we don't even always know what we want. Thank you, Linda. Ooh, great. And yeah, I mean, I know the blind behind me is not terribly attractive in the window, but it is what it is. And just showing up and working from our hearts and sort of, it's very hard for me, as an autistic person and as someone who has been looked up to and praised for their IQ and their intelligence and their brilliance. I've always sort of been up here and trying to figure things out. And more, I'm realizing that the more I create the space between the craziness and how I react to it and what I want, the more I can A, learn about myself, B, be more compassionate with myself, C, reduce the tension and listen and connect with who I am, then the more I will connect with the right people at the right time. Thanks, Linda. And yeah, so it's really about that. It's about believing in what's possible and allowing what we want to be possible, right? It doesn't, because you don't have to know how it's going to come together and you don't know when it's going to come together, but in my experience, I can tell you so many stories. In my experience, it really does. There is really just a certain amount of, things come together when they need to come together. And I could tell you even just a hug train story that I was thinking about tonight. But I mean, maybe we should do another mindfulness exercise. Does that sound good to people, or do people want to hear a story? So let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you want, what you're ready for. If you have stuff that you want to share, if you have stuff that you want to talk about, that's definitely also an option. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking, and yeah, we can go from there. But the most important part is to just say, everything that's going on, everything that's crazy, everything that I'm reacting to, it's trying to tell me about what I want, and it's trying to guide me to myself and to listening to myself and just taking that space. And it's incredible sometimes how even taking just a tiny step back and getting out of the downward spiral, we tend to get caught up in these what ifs, and what if this happens and then I have to control this and I have to take it there, and I'm like that too, and I'm really lucky that I have friends with whom I have these conversations, and we're both able to just say, hey, you're in what ifs right now, so pull back and just focus on what's right in front of you. And what's right in front of me right now is you guys, and this laptop and this video. But what's in front of me right now is this opportunity to connect with the people who are showing up, to connect and to share and to take a break from all the madness that's happening around us right now, and connect with what it is we want, because the where you put your focus is so important. And the more you put it in your heart and in having compassion for yourself and allowing yourself to be imperfect and allow yourself to need others, and trust that the right people will show up when you show up, that's super important. I can tell you how many times just snapping out of it, because sometimes even it's just breathing, because we sometimes get so tense, or even when we're just staring at the screen or dead scrolling. Some people have what's called screen apnea, and it's just they stop breathing because they're staring at the screen, and their mind is somewhere else, and their imagination has taken them to a whole other area. And I know that I sometimes forget to eat or drink, because when I'm watching, when I'm in front of the screen, kind of thing. And just taking that small breath, that small step, you sort of break the cycle and you get off the slide and you get back into what's right in front of you right now. Because the pain that we experience often is about, I don't know if my shirt is all this, anyway. The pain that we experience is a pain of anticipated disappointment, or fear of failure, or fear of not achieving, and not reaching our goals. Um, and I don't know, I mean, how many of you are aware or connect with the idea that you are, um, you are your focus is what you get. And so like whatever you focus on, and if you're focused on what you don't want, sometimes you start noticing it a lot more, right? If that's the that's the frequency that you tune your internal radio or TV into, and that's what you're going to hear a lot of. So you can change that channel and say, okay, well, this is telling me about what I don't want. So what is it also? So if it's telling me about what I don't want, then it's telling me about what I do want. And if it's telling me about what's not possible and what I can have, then it's also telling me about what I am trying to access and what I am trying to connect with. So I'm gonna bring and it really is the small things, and that's why the next phase for Hug Train is about finding these small things that and showing that they work and helping people connect with them and sharing with people and increasing people's connection to their own power, because we're all so super powerful, and we're all able, with, like I said, even the slightest effort, without even the slightest effort, just to say this is what I want and not attach anything to it, and just say this is, wouldn't it be nice if I had. So that's an exercise you can do, is wouldn't it be nice if I had, maybe list a few things and just let them go. you know and you can do this every day. You can do this, and you can do the wouldn't it be nice every day. You can do this mindfulness space between what's happening and how you react to it every day. You can do it at multiple times a day. You can restart your day every time. So let's have another mindfulness sort of exercise. The idea for me, so the idea is here. Let's picture yourself sitting in a train station. This is the How to Train page. You are the How to Train family, and we are gonna think about. Yeah, it's. I mean, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to look at it, Linda. Like, it can be releasing it to the universe. It can be releasing it to the multiverse. It can be releasing it to the deity, or it could just really be just surrendering whatever, surrendering, letting go of the how, and just saying, these are the things that I want. This is what would be nice. And then, like, trusting that that's enough, and showing up, and not hustling, and not stressing out, and understanding, like my friend Stacy Jordan Shelton, who you should check out. She's got a really great group called the House of Audacity, and she's an amazing coach. Um, and if so you want to take whatever you believe, and don't hustle, just show up, just show up with your heart. And there's a lot of this process that we need to sort of like deprogram ourselves from this delusion that we can be perfect, and just really connect with the fact that we are made to need others, and we are made to help others, and that's really how we build our our communities. And even with all the craziness that's happening around us right now, this the opportunity that we have now is more than ever, is to reconnect with our power by hearing our intrusive thoughts and trying to understand where they're coming from, and trying to understand why our instinct is to react the way that we do to them, the scary big thoughts, and just say, hey, look, what is it trying to tell me that I can't have, or what does it tell me that I deserve? Yeah. um, and in working through that and in connecting with that, that's how you connect to your superpower, and that's how uh, you're able to really just feel this sort of, if you will, grace, trusting that everything's going to be okay, because the truth is that we don't even know what's going to happen 10 seconds from now. In 10 seconds from now, a magical universe could appear and take us to a land where um, we are all, happy and free, and we can become the best our best selves. And I wish for that all the time. Where's this magical unicorn that's going to take me to this land that where we can be our best selves? And yes, I know it's a little bit pie in the sky, but the truth is, like I said, I made a list. Things are coming together from that list, and all I did was make the list. So if you want to make that list, that is something that I encourage you and invite you to do. And so we're going to do is go into another mindfulness exercise. And because it's a hug train and because I love trains, we're going to use trains as a metaphor. So close your eyes. All right, so we're sitting on a train platform. So, decide what that train platform looks like. Are there trains on both sides of the platform? Or are the platforms on either side of the tracks? Is there a covering? Is it day? Is it night? Is it cold? Is it raining? Is it warm? Does you feel wind? And just sit there on the platform on a bench. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen to our thoughts as if they were trains coming through this station. So before a train comes through the station, normally the first thing we hear is the loudspeaker, right? So the loudspeaker is going to tell us this train arriving from this place and going to this place is going to be arriving, in the next few minutes. Stand back from the edge of the platform, etc. Be careful. So what are these? And they're announcing trains, right? So all of our thoughts are like these trains coming through the platform, and they're rushing through, and they're loud, and they're smelly, and they're powerful, and they make a lot of noise, and they make a lot of they move the air a lot, and they you can maybe feel the platform shaking, and these are your thoughts, right? But if there's a thought that is super obtrusive and scary, the first thing you're definitely not going to do is try to get in its way, like jump onto the platform, right? So you're going to stay seated, right? Because if you're in a train station and you're going to a specific place, then you're not going to get on the first train that comes into the station. You're going to wait for your train. So what you can do with these big, loud trains, especially the ones that are like not even stopping at the station, they're just passing right through, and they're going full speed. You're not going to get on it if it's not going where you want. You're not, and you're not going to get in its way. You can acknowledge that it's passing through. You can observe the train. You can see, how many wagons it has. Does it only have cargo? Does it also have passengers? Is it only passengers? What kind of train is it? Is it a choo-choo train, like an old-timey train? Is it like a high-speed train? Those super modern ones. But you don't have to get on. You can hear the noise. You can feel the shaking. You can feel the stress. And all you have to do is just watch it go by. And today, that's not where you're going. And maybe you'll never go there. But you definitely don't have to get on that train, right? You don't have to get on it. Just because you hear a thought doesn't mean you have to get on it. And so let's sit and listen to these trains and feel them come through. And look at them and watch as they go past. You don't have to fight with them. They're just a thought. They're just an idea. And right here, right now, where you are, hopefully you've eaten, you're warm, you have internet, you are here with me. We're connecting, we're talking, we're having a nice time. And all these trains are going around. Maybe you're getting notifications on your phone. Maybe people are messaging you. Maybe they're giving you updates on the elections and sharing opinions that you don't share, and all that is stressful because, once again, it's telling you all these things that you don't want to hear. But not just that, it's also telling you about it's reminding you of all the things that you want to be true that you don't know necessarily how to get to, or that you're afraid to invest yourself in because maybe they're not true, and maybe you're wrong, and maybe you're fooling yourself. So just sit there and listen, and just watch these trains go by, and um, and if you catch yourself getting on a train that isn't going where you want to go, what's great about these trains in this station is that they're magic. Um, the minute you decide to get off that train, you get off and you're back at the station. And yeah, I mean, it may have taken some energy from you, it may have stressed you out, but you can always just come right back. Come right back to here, to the present moment. So you don't have to get on the train, you don't have to get run over by the train, you don't have to waste all that energy. But if you do, it's okay. You just come back here to the present, reset, reboot. That's, this is your superpower. This is mindfulness. This is just, okay, that's clearly not where I want to go. That's not the train I wanted to be on. It's not the thought that I wanted to go on. So I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to see, you know, what other thoughts? What are the good feeling thoughts? What are the thoughts that maybe your mind tells you that you can't entertain because you don't have like a way to reach that goal, right? So maybe there is no train coming through your mind that's going to where you want to go, or maybe you don't know where that train goes. But another thing that's interesting with trains or planes or whatever is if you get on a train or if you get on a plane, between when you get on and when you get off, right? Those are the choices that you make. You make the choice about where you sit. If you're sitting in the window, you make a choice about who you talk to. You make a choice about, if you're going to watch a movie, or read a book, or write, or whatever. While you're in transit from point A to point B, you don't have to know how to get there. You don't have to know the minute details of, which switches to throw, and which other trains you need to stop for to let through, and all the air traffic control stuff. And you don't need to know if what speed you need to go at to like stay on the rail on this curve or whatever. You don't even know where that curve is. You just need to know that you're going from point A to point B, and the rest you can trust that it's going to come through and it's come together. And so that's part of it, sort of like this letting go of how. Yes, I mean, there are things that you need to do, but for the most part, you just need to show up. And if people don't show up with you, that doesn't mean that you have a bad idea. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that it's not the right time, or it's something that you need to, spend more time figuring out, or spend more not figuring out in terms of how, but just like sometimes like just listening to it and craft, cultivating the space that you have between the idea and the stress, whatever it is. Even if like you're trying to build something, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to, check off things off a checklist, and it's like, I've got to go, I've got to go, I've got to go. And it's just like, take a second, refresh, reconnect, and restart and reboot, and just say, okay, where to next? Where am I going? Setting that intention and connecting with that, and just getting on that train and not worrying about how you get there. The same way you get on any train and not really worry about all the ins and outs of getting from point A to point B. You trust that you're going to get on the train, and the train's going to take you where you want to go. So it's about choosing the right train and trusting that it comes, and waiting for it to show up. And if you're going to, if you're in Chicago and you want to go to Los Angeles, then you're definitely not going to get on the train to New York, right? Because you're going to LA. Sure, I mean, you can get the train from Chicago, you can get the train to San Antonio, right? Highlander. And from that train, from that train, you could potentially get on a train to LA. And that's okay. Nothing has to be like direct and perfect. Like, you can, from Chicago, if you want to get to LA, you can take the train to San Francisco and then take a different train to LA. You can take the train to Portland or Seattle and still get to LA from Chicago. But generally speaking, you can't really, there's no like connecting routes. If you're going to go to New York, you're going to have to eventually go back to Chicago, which is okay. That's just the way it is. And trusting the currents and trusting the path is also part of it. Not beating yourself up and being gentle with yourself, and accepting that you're not perfect. and that's okay because we're not supposed to be. And letting go of this expectation and this delusion that perfection is acceptable and achievable, and just being okay with needing others, being okay with having a certain set of goals, of talents and things that you have to offer. And yeah, I mean, if you want to learn, if you want to get better, then spend time with that, schedule time for it, make time for it. But if it's things that you're not sure how to get to, then, the same way that you have this part of your brain that's constantly like searching for the problems and this and the things to look out for and the things to worry about, is the same way that you have that your brain can also be programmed to listen for the things that you do want, right? Set those antennas. Whoops. Oops. Sorry. Set those antennas on a different frequency, and look for what you want, and be gentle with yourself, and let things take the time to take. Everything is taking so long right now. I mean, even this vote count is going to take forever, right? So trusting that that can work, trusting that we can um, get to where we need to, and believing that what we want is possible, and then surrendering the rest. You know, we don't have to. You don't have to know how. Whatever it is that you want, you don't have to know how. So let's recap quickly. So first, the path to um, your superpower as a human being is to actually examine those most scary, intrusive thoughts, the ones that you want to push against, the ones that you want to spend energy fighting against, whether it's a thought or it's a person or an organization or a group of people, whatever it is. Just what are they telling you about what you know what you don't want? What are they telling you about what you do want? Right, and sort of creating that space and cultivating the space between these scary messages that your brain is sending you, and how you use that to connect with yourself and connect with your core and connect with uh, your heart and connect with the things that you want. So that's the first thing. That's where your superpower lies. The second is if you're having trouble accessing that, and even if you want to just, if you're way too stressed out, then one thing that we can understand is all this tension that we feel, all this stress that we feel, all this stuff that we're carrying, it doesn't want to be held. We can let it go. So what you do is, as you take a deep breath in, you imagine a window over wherever it is in your body that you're feeling tension, and you can do this as many times as you like. You check in, you rate yourself, you rate your tension out of 10, and then you breathe in, you build your window over that area, and as you breathe out and you do a deep breath out, you let as much of that energy that's pressing up against that window that you just built, and let it out. And then check again with yourself to see where your tension and your anxiety is at. And usually, hopefully, it'll come down. So that's a quick trick. And you can always pull yourself out of whatever downward spiral it is, and reconnect to, okay, but what do I want out of today? How do I want to feel at the end of today? Wow, I've been going for 50 minutes. So how do I want to feel at the end of today? Um, and you probably start doing that right at the beginning of your day, the first thing you do, rather than your phone, your computer, whatever it is, your coffee. Just take a second and say, hey, so how do I want to feel at the end of today? Because chances are you're already doing it. You usually, like, I know I've had mornings where I wake up and I just go, ugh, I have so much to do today. I really hate it. I don't want to do this. This is going to suck, whatever. That's one way to go about it. Another way is just say, like, okay, at the end of today, at the end of this period of my life, at the end of this month, at the end of whatever it is, how do I want to feel? And connecting with that. And if, and just allowing yourself to see your thoughts as trains passing through the station of your mind, and allowing yourself to choose which ones you get on, and letting the other ones just go by, you know. And part of that is like all the distressing stuff that's happening around the world. Not to say that it doesn't need to take care of, taken care of, but like um, we have a lot more power helping each other out and connecting with each other, um, and building these these mutual aid systems that we have right now that are circumventing all of the institutions that are kind of letting us down, which is super inspiring. Just given everything that's going on, um, and sort of connecting with that and believing that that's where we connect is by saying this is what I have to offer, and this is what you have to offer, and think about how it feels that when you're able to give other people what you have to offer and when it's needed, and give people that opportunity too. Like if you are a giver and you're not used to being a taker, that's okay. You can give people the opportunity to feel how you feel when you're able to help someone, right? So if you allow people to help you, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to understand, that you're going to understand that this is what you're giving people when you allow them to help you, when you allow them to show up for you, and because it feels good, as much as you know that it feels good, and right, it's super important to be there for each other. And so that's the way, is just like the little things. We're talking about paying it forward, and people are talking about buying coffee with the person behind them, or letting someone, even if you're in traffic and someone lets you in, and because you're in the wrong lane or because you're in a rush or whatever, all of that stuff. And I don't know if anyone's still voting, but if you're still in line, or if you know people that are still in line, uh, maybe see if people are there's some people in line that have to get back to their kids, have to get back to their work, have to be up early tomorrow, have to, all the things. Let them cut in line in front of you. If you see people are being hassled and they're being given the wrong information, or being given a hard time because of the voter ID, or because of the way they look, or because of the way they sound, step up for them, step in for them. If you see irregularities, if you see people are being misinformed, or whatever, step up and help them. Today is one of the most clear days, and it's the biggest opportunity for us to see just exactly um, what systemic racism means, because a lot of people can't even get in line. And these are the people that we accuse of staying home, right? They can't get in line because there's the polling station is way too far from their house. They can't get time off work. They can't afford to take time off because they might lose their job, which means they might lose their home, especially now during COVID times. Um, they can't get childcare, whatever it is, or they're going to be even if they're able to stand in line, when they are standing in line, they might be hassled or intimidated by the observers or the people outside, or the poll workers are going to give them the wrong information. Oh, you're in the wrong place. Oh, you need a provisional ballot. Oh, you're not signed up. Oh, you're not registered. There's a lot of different ways that you can step up for people today. If you're still voting, if you're still in line, stay in line, help people out. Little things, and it really is the little things that matter, and the little things that make a difference. And I can tell you just from my experience in the last few weeks, just people think that they're not doing much, right? And they give, and think of the times that you've helped someone. Often it doesn't feel like a lot of work, but you have no idea how it can help someone else. And in terms of like stepping up to help people, get in front of the line, in line in front of you, or vote, or feel safe standing in line. This is a job that is especially for people who are not racialized, because the votes of a lot of racialized people count a lot less, even if they're able to vote, count a lot less than those who aren't racialized, because of the way that the Senate is set up and the electoral college is set up. So show up to vote, and help other people vote. But anyways, coming back to mindfulness and being careful, and so there's just an opportunity to make a difference, and you are going to make a difference. Like, my perspective is, when people help me and they're like, oh, it's nothing, I'm like, well, it's more than I already had, and it makes a big difference to me. So don't discount your ability to make a difference in the world. However small it is, it's going to make a difference to someone. It'll make them feel seen. A lot of, think about how sometimes you feel like you are invisible, you don't matter. Whatever little thing it is that you can do it. So coming back to mindfulness, and and taking a breath, and taking space, and stepping away from uh, all the madness is going around, and all the messages that you're getting that you aren't going to get what you want, or that the world isn't there for you, and just take a step back and just say, okay, where do I want to be when this time period is over? This day is over, this election period is over, all the voting is over, this year is over, whatever it is, you know, begin with the end in mind, and also like buy that ticket on that train, get on that train, get on the train to wherever it is you're going, and trust that the train will get there, right? Because that's what we do when we get on planes and trains. We buy a ticket, we go to the gate that we're supposed to get on, we sit where we're assigned, and we trust that this mode of transportation is going to get us from point A to point B. We surrender control, and that's part of it as well. Is all you have to do is show up and really believe that, be in your heart, listen to your heart, um, connect with that, and get out of your head. And as someone with autism and as someone who's like supposed to be super smart, like it's been a really hard lesson for me to learn. It's just to get out of my head, and it just takes a few seconds. And it's just sometimes it's just like breathing, remembering to breathe, focusing on your breathing. I think that um, that's definitely something that sort of smokers or ex-smokers understand is uh, like the reason people are like, I'm so stressed I need a cigarette is not because the cigarette's going to help them. It's actually a stimulant. But it's because it's one of the only socially acceptable times where you can be in public and take a deep breath and focus on your breath. Because if you don't focus on your breath, then you'll choke. And what that carries over into is also like understanding that so not only does the world get created in the way that we help each other out, and in every help that is offered and every help that is given and every help that is taken as well, we rebuild the world and recreate it that way. And we buy into this world that we want to live in. But also, what's interesting is that breath is super important. We take one, and if we don't take one, then we die. And so, in keeping that in mind and realizing that what connects us to the physical world and to our reality and to our physicality as well and to our hearts and everything else. I mean, our hearts stop beating if we don't get oxygen, so we need to keep breathing, and that's what keeps us going. That every single breath that we take is signing a new lease on life. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity to create the world that we want to live in. So, just when everything gets mad and gets too crazy, just sit down, put everything down, close your eyes, take a deep breath, release that tension, use the window technique, the release technique, and then just open your eyes again. Take a beat, circle back, and see maybe the way that you've looking at things changed. Um, you know, and it's really important to sort of understand your breath, connect with your breath, and be there with yourself, and believe that the things that you want are possible. And that's it. Just believe that they're possible. Connect with how it'll feel. Like, is it a yes, or is it like a satisfaction? Like one of my friends, I hope they don't mind that I'm sharing this. When I sort of did some mindfulness exercises with them, they were saying that what they want is this feeling of falling into bed after a long but amazing and fulfilling day. Right? And that's what they're looking for. And now, when they have a stressful moment, that's what they focus on. So it's just been about an hour. I'm gonna go for now. If people want me to do more of these tonight or tomorrow, leave a message on here. Comment on the post. Send me a message. I do have a really cool one, but I am gonna take a break because it's almost 11 o'clock here. But yeah, I mean, if rewatch this, share this if it's helped you. Send me comments. I'm here. I'm listening. I can do one-on-one guided meditations with you if you want. But there's like a really cool one that I use that's really helpful. Also, just about if you're still not sure about the fact that the world has got your back. And if you're still not sure what it is that you really, really, really want, then I can connect you in there. I can help connect you with that. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. Stay mindful, stay heart focused. Um, Believe in the possible. Believe in yourself. Be compassionate with yourself and others. Allow yourself and others to be imperfect, because in that imperfection is how we create the world. Foster the space between all the stimulus and what you want. Because mindfulness isn't about stillness, it's about finding stillness in the madness. And meditation isn't about emptying your mind, it's about changing your thoughts. So, with those thoughts in mind, I'm going to let you go. Connect, message me, get in touch, and yeah, maybe I'll, and if there's enough demand, then I'll do another one of these lives. And yeah, and if not, I'm here to support you in person. So take care of yourself. I love you. Believe in the small changes that you're able to make. You are powerful. You are amazing. And I love you.